All right, so this morning we booked yet another qualified call using our outbound organic system. I'm going to walk you through exactly how we did that just in a moment. And as you can see, we had Mr. Keel Russell here wanted to book us into his calendar for a full hour, but we don't do that. So we actually ended up getting him onto our calendar for a quick 15-minute chat. So I'm going to walk you through the exact system on how we do this every day and get qualified prospects on our calendar. So this would be for you if you're a digital marketing agency owner, or maybe you run like a social media marketing agency, something like that, and you don't have a proven and consistent and predictable outbound organic system to continuously book calls within your company. So if you're new here, my name is Aidan Riley. I run High Income Society. We're a growth consultancy, and essentially what we do is we help these agencies build in-house client acquisition systems so that way you own this entire system to scale with. That means you don't have to rely on referrals, cold calling, or you don't even have to outsource the work anymore, right? You don't have to pay expensive lead gen agencies to come in and do all this work for you. It's actually done in-house and it's already built in there so you and your team can leverage it to scale with, right? Super efficient, super helpful, super cost efficient too. It's very, very helpful for agencies that need something like this to scale with because they don't have these processes for themselves, right? So I'm going to walk you through our two punch combo as part of our ISM model, our insider scaling method. And it is our outbound organic booking system. And then we have our paid inbound booking system as well. So outbound and inbound. Okay. This is working right now. And this organic system is exactly what booked our friend Keel here for our call tomorrow. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through this. We start with outbound messaging, right? So this could be LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, outbound organic messaging. Okay. Now we have a cadence that follows a 4 to 7 follow-up rule, and it typically looks like this. So we do like the initial message on day 1, 2 days later follow-up, 3 days later, 3 days later, 3 days later, 1 day, 5 day follow-ups. Okay, fairly simple. Now, if there is a negative reply, we just simply delete them from our campaign. And if there's a positive reply, then we get them on a book call. Now, we have this pretty much automated and set up so you don't have to be the one sitting there messaging all the time. Even if you wanted like a VA or a SDR, a sales rep, to kind of just overlook the system, it's very simple. And you basically just get them on a positive reply book call, right? They're qualified, we book them on a call. Right. Then we send about 2 to 4 call reminders with some social proof just to add some value as well. And the reason why it's 2 to 4, it really just depends on the length of when you're booking the calls. So we recommend that you don't book anything longer than 4 days out because then your show up rate starts to decrease pretty rapidly, right? So you want to book them within that 1 to 4th day time period and then send 2 to 4 call reminders depending on the length with some social proof, with some credibility, with some value so that your prospects get excited to talk to you. Okay. From there, we're going to be qualifying them if they're good on that first call. Let's say that, they're a good fit. Then what we're going to do is we're qualified. We book them on our strategy session or sales call. And what we do as well is send them a pre-conversion video. So essentially what this is, it's a condensed video sales letter into a short form video that explains what it is we do, how we help our clients, showcases some value to them as well, and gets them really excited to jump on that second call. Okay. So when you're doing outbound, it's always a 2 call close, and you want to send the pre conversion video as an anchor between the first and the second call. Okay. Not a lot of people are doing this. And when you do it, it really enhances not only just your show up rate, but your closing rate as well. Okay. So this is very, very important. Now, if they're not qualified, of course, we just send them back. We delete them from the campaign. And let's say you go through this whole process here of sending outbound messaging organically and you're not getting any messaging, you're not getting any follow-up. Well, that's okay. We have a sequence where you can go ahead and zap your information of your prospects or whatever automation you use. You can go ahead and zap it into your CRM and do an email follow-up, which is exactly how we ended up booking our call this morning with our friend Keel, that we ended up getting him on the call using this email system. Okay. So again, no reply from these follow-ups. Then we're just going to throw them into our email campaign, and we send about 3 to 4 personal email follow-ups with a 3-day cadence. So every third day they're getting an email, right? You can schedule that out with whatever CRM you use. And you can either use Vidyard Outreach, which is a video recording software similar to this one here, or you could use just hyper-personalized initial outreach and use that. And then what you want to do is leverage case studies, social proof, media walkthroughs to enhance the value and authority that you bring to the table for your ideal prospects and clients that you want to sign. Okay. Now, important thing to note, like I mentioned, on the Fourth follow-up with Keel is when he booked the call, is when he wanted to jump on the call and start chatting with us. Okay. So it's good that we have four. We typically find that's a good amount of follow-ups, and we get people on the back end. So definitely leverage this and make it hyper personalized, make it personalized to them. Make sure that you know your audience, you know who you're speaking to, right? That's kind of the whole theme of these systems, right? If you know exactly who you're speaking to, it's going to make this way easier to help them and get them on a book call. Okay. So that's it for the organic outbound system for now. And we will go over to the inbound, paid inbound booking system. Okay. So let's say you're running paid ads. Okay. Let's say you have paid ads, and maybe you're not getting the best type of deal for yourself, but they're working okay. But you know that with how expensive ad costs are right now and the cost to convert all these clients, it's getting more expensive. So how do we get the most out of our paid traffic? Okay, well, I'm going to show you that right now. So let's say you're using TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, right? You got a paid ad creative. The important thing here, of course, is know your audience. So that way you can get them to a opt-in page where you're going to then collect their email and phone number. Okay, now the phone number is very important for this system because we're going to be doing some outbound calls. Let's say if you have a setter, right? You can use like a VA, you can use a setter, you can use a sales development rep, whoever you have that can go ahead and start scraping your CRM. This is going to be very important for the system. Okay, so let's say again, they go through our paid ad, then they're on our opt-in page, our landing page, and they opt into what would be some free value. Okay, so it could be like a free PDF, free ebook, free video training. If you have like a course, you could send like a really great video, right? You basically want to have this juicy offer that's going to allow them to give up their email and phone number. Again, emphasis on their phone number. So you want to have a really great offering of free value for them. Plus, they get to watch the pre-conversion video, which if you build it correctly and if you market it correctly, it's also a free training, right? That they get value inside of this video and they get true value from it, right? So they're getting like a 2-for-1 type of deal, which more they're going to be more inclined to give you their email and phone number. Okay. So they get access to the pre-conversion video. It's the exact same video that we'd be sending out over here on our 2-call close, but except now with paid inbound, it's going to be a 1-call close. So they're going to have the opportunity to book their sales call directly through the pre-conversion video. Okay. Now, if it's positive, right, and they go ahead and they book directly through this video, well, that's great. Now you got a sales call booked, right? Ideally, that's what we want. We want it to happen every single time. But if they don't, right, or let's say that they watch the video, they just don't book a call, well, that's okay. Now this is where you or your teammate, your setter, your SDR, your VA, they're going to come through and scrape the CRM, right, from the most recent leads that just watched the videos. You want to get them as soon as possible, even if they're already watching the videos. It's totally cool. You can go ahead and call them right up in there, right? If they're watching the video, fine. You see that their information comes in, give them a call right away, right? Even if they watch the full video, like 20 minutes go by and they don't book a call, well, then you're going to go ahead and call them up right away and just reach out to them and get them on a call. And what you want to do too, you can kind of pre-qualify them as well. Let's say they didn't have time to watch the video or whatever they say, right? Just ask them a couple of questions, pre-qualify them, and then get them on the sales call, right? And then leading up to that sales call, you want to send some more case studies, some value leading up to that next call, right? And then close the client. So this is very effective if you're running paid traffic, because you're going to just be able to go ahead and scrape the leads out that went and watched your video and just call them up right away and get them on a book call. This exact system we used to book 71 qualified book calls in a month using one setter. One setter did this alone. Okay, 71 qualified book calls in a month with one setter off one account. Okay, it was just one ad creative. That was it. Okay, now it's very effective using this exact same method that way, because you're going to be able to just book so many calls. Imagine if you had 3 setters, right? Now you're tripling that output, right? You're tripling those book calls, right? Depending on how many you want. Okay. Now, coupled with this system, you're getting around 21 to 42 book calls a month. Okay. So that's a lot of book calls if you're using the system correctly. Now, the kicker here, the real key, is you have to know your audience. A lot of agencies that I work with, they are not super specific on who they help, right? Maybe they've helped a ton of people, which is great. But I mean, if you want to get very concrete on having these systems work for you, just target one niche. You can always go target another niche later, but just for now, let's focus on one. So that means one ad creative towards one ideal audience that has one big problem, because then this creative, this ad is going to tie in to the free value that they get here, so that you can collect their email and phone number, which then ties in to them watching this PCV video, or pre-conversion video, sorry, and it all makes sense to them, right? If you're all over the place and it doesn't really make specific sense to them and it doesn't really fill a need for them, they're not going to stick around, right? This all needs to tie in together. You need to know exactly who it is you want to help. If it's like, realtors, if it's, dentists, whatever, you can go with like the original ones. But as long as you know who you're helping, like for example, I had a client that specifically targets practice managers of like health clinics, okay? Pretty specific. And they had a specific problem that they were going to be solving for them, right? So they wanted to come in and specifically help them. So they were getting more book calls that way. Okay. So you need to do the same. That way you're going to get way better results with these systems. You can still get results, but it's going to be way better if you're very specific, way more worth your time, your team's time, and money. Okay. Same thing with this. You want to know exactly who it is that you're targeting. You want to know exactly what their pains and problems are. That way you can get them on book calls way more easier. Okay. Same rules apply. Now, when you couple these two systems together, you are going to get an influx of leads, but it's something you can turn on or off whenever you want. Okay. Maybe you're an agency that doesn't want a ton of book calls, right? We're just looking for a client a month. Okay. No problem. You can control these systems how you would like to. We build it all in house. It's a flick of the switch of how you want it to run, and that's it. You just have one teammate oversee it and just kind of run through it. You can have, like I said, one person alone can book you upwards combined over 100 calls, okay, a month. If that's what you want. If you want higher volume, if you want lower volume, you can lower the volume as well, okay? But using these two systems together is extremely effective, okay? Extremely effective. So what I recommend is, give this a shot. See if you like it, right? Try it out. If you know exactly who you're targeting, give it a shot. It'll be definitely worth your time. It's not super complex. You have this video to come back to. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, like this video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.